Hi everyone, welcome to today's makeup date. Today we'll be going through the ins and outs that have recently come in and out of my collection, some Franken stuff, as well as a few focused face products like makeup based products that I've been working through lately. I feel like there's going to be some repeats because that's just the season I'm in, but I do like to kind of regularly document kind of where I'm at with things and kind of what I'm focusing on and goals and stuff like that. So I just want to talk through that. So this is my space just to ramble and talk makeup. So if I feel rambly, that's why. I also haven't been in front of a camera for about a week and a half, so I feel like extra rusty and rambly. So we'll see how this goes. But I do actually have a nice bag of outs since my last makeup date. Very, very proud of that because the last makeup date I did was like a huge haul. But I do have a few ins as well. And let's talk through it. So let's first do the ins. I only have two of them, so I think it'll be a little bit quicker. First is actually just picked this up today, a conditioner. Starting to run low on my current one, and I technically have another one, but I really put that in my swim bag. So yeah, I was just like, I feel like I need one soon. Also, like I realize I cannot think straight when I'm shopping with a toddler. And I had my toddler with me in a grocery store, and this was on discount there. And I just like, couldn't think straight. I was like, conditioner, I need some. Grab it, go, put it in the cart. And like, like it's not like I had time to like walk around and put it back or like think about it, So I think I need to be extra careful when I'm shopping with a toddler. Maybe not to peruse the beauty stuff. That might be smarter. I even went in like later today and like returned something, and I totally could have like taken my time with it, but I didn't. But it's the Dove Hair Therapy Hydration Spa. It's a hyaluronic serum. See, it is. I'm not a huge fan of pump conditioners. It's just like I can never get it at the bottom, and like you're stuck at the end, like shaking it out, right? But we'll give it a try. I'm stuck with it now, committed. I mean, I technically could return it if I really, really wanted to, but I feel like there's a place for it, and I'm not like that heartbroken about it. The other one is a new sunscreen, actually. So you can see I popped the top off already and started using it. Actually found it on sale at my local CVS, I think for about 10 bucks. They listed as the original price being like 30 bucks, which is like absurd for a sunscreen. But this has 50 milliliters, and expiration date is April 2025. So no wonder it was on clearance, and I don't think they even carry this anymore. I don't think Olay makes this anymore. So yeah, so I actually like put my current sunscreen aside and started using this just so that I could kind of make it closer to the expiration date. I'm okay with using sunscreen, especially this time of year where I live, a little bit, like even if like it's not the full amount of sunscreen in terms of like its potency, but I do want to do my best to use up as much as I can, as close to April 2025 as I can. But so that's about 2-ish months, and I don't feel like I have to use a lot of this. Like a little goes a long way. I know you're supposed to use about a milliliter of sunscreen between like your face and neck. So I don't know. I'm hoping I'll get close, but I had to put aside my other sunscreen that I was working on and turn to this. But those are the only two sunscreens I have in my collection. Both of them are mineral, so I don't feel like terrible about it. I was already like on the fence about buying another sunscreen, potentially even like a 5-ounce sunscreen. So when I picked this up, I was already thinking about it. So I don't feel that bad about it. But it was a little impulsive. So there's that. All right, so those are the purchases. Let's dive into my empties. I have some I guess I'll just start from the top of the bag. I am officially rolling this out. I only use this like 3 times, and this was a mascara that I picked up at Happy Beauty Co. And it's just so dried out. It feels empty too, which is absurd to me, being an 8-gram mascara. And it comes out so dry, like I can barely get anything on my lashes. This is the most dry I've ever seen a mascara in my collection in a very long time. Like I can even use my new like Franken mascara, which I did in my Franken video, and I'll showcase a little bit later in this video. That even gives me more like volume and just like gives me more mascara than this does. So this is dead and I'm just gonna go ahead and roll that one out. So I will need to figure out, I'm still figuring out this mascara thing because a new Franken mascara I made. I really should just talk about it in a little bit, but it is not waterproof, so I need to figure out a waterproof option for me pretty soon. I am gonna go ahead and call the sponge done. It's just really hard to clean out, honestly. Black sponges are harder to clean out than I thought, and especially this being like a nicer one. I cut this up from like a face and body sponge. Given that this is like supposed to be nicer quality, I just can't bring it myself to like keep rolling it out every week or so. So I try to stick it out to about 2 weeks, and it's just like, it's getting tough. So I'm gonna go ahead and let it go, and go through the other portions of that face and body sponge, and then go back to my more disposable ones that serve me and the way I like to use sponges a little bit better. This is kind of an unconventional one, but this is a dietary supplement for cravings. I honestly cannot tell you if it worked or not. I feel like I would need to either do it more, which I cannot stick with stuff like that, or just my self-control is really that terrible that even a dietary supplement couldn't waver my emotional and mental strength of my cravings, because those have been tough lately. Pimple patches, just an empty package here. I got some new ones lately, so rolled those in. And then this is already refilled, but I did put in, like, I finished up a 15 milliliter portion of my CosRX. This is not a CosRX packaging, it's MAC, but I do decant my CosRX. I don't know, all in one, I think what it's called, like moisturizer in here. So that's what's in here, and I already re-upped it. So very cool to see another one of these done. I finished up an eye not an eye cream, an eye cream. It's not an eye treatment. I feel like it would be even bigger, but this was 5 milliliters and it lasted me months. This is from Bobbi Brown. It's the vitamin enriched eye base, and it might have been an eye primer, but honestly, I use it just like an eye cream. It's done. I think the size is nice to reuse as well. 5 milliliters. That's pretty standard across like sample jars, but this took a long time. This took a really, really long time. I think I purchased this in, it was when I was traveling. Was I traveling to Seattle? That sounds right. That was in like November. So I used that November till now. And so that's a long time for a 5 milliliter jar. So, yeah, I think it was November. So about 5 months or so, if I'm doing math right. November. I used it in November, December, January, February, March. Yeah, so about 5 months. Oh, I can't even imagine with a 15 milliliter container of these, right? That would be definitely a year plus. Oh, yeah. Anyways, so I don't have a current eye treatment or eye serum right now. I'm just trying to see if I feel okay with like just a regular serum and just the other moisturizing lotions and stuff I have. I feel like if I wasn't so caught up in the whole like my eyes look XYZ, maybe I'd be okay. But I'm still been a little bit sleep deprived lately, so I'm just like, oh, I have like eye bags or whatever. But like, honestly, who can tell with a little bit of concealer? And those, I really should be wearing those as like, these are my these are my battle scars right now, because I'm just surviving here. But anyhow, I'm thinking of maybe picking up some samples from like Sephora or something, just to kind of hold me over until I find something on a decent sale, because I don't want to, because I'm kind of right in between of like, if I buy something on sale, am I just buying it because it's on sale? Or if I'm buying it at a good value, am I buying it just because of a good value? Because there has been a few things I've come across that are like, oh, that's really good value for an eye treatment. Versus like, do I actually really need it? If I don't, then I really shouldn't be spending money on it. So this is kind of where I'm at right now, and I really just need to hold off until I have an actual clear, like, objective answer for myself. And maybe I should turn to things like actual scientific resources. Like, I have the book literally sitting in front of me, and maybe I'll look it up after this. It's upside down. I'm so sorry. That's how much I haven't touched it. The Science of Beauty by Dr. Michelle Wong, who is Lab Muffin Beauty Science, if you've seen any of her content online. But I'm sure she has something about like eye treatments and eye serums and like what is legit. Because, like, I've heard the hacks of like using just Vaseline is just as good under your eyes and stuff like that. Let me quickly look to see if she has anything in here about eye treatments. I might have to look a little bit closer. I see some stuff about eyelashes and eyeshadows and eye makeup, but maybe it's under eye. Yeah, under eye area. She has a section for it, so I'm gonna read it. All right. we will see what she says if there's any benefits. All right, what else was I holding in my hand? I was holding in my hand, oh, a lip gloss. Yay. I think this is about 4 milliliters in here. I think well, maybe 5 actually. I always find that when I do DIY stuff, I always just cram product in this versus like, you know, when they probably fill this at the factory, it's probably the 3.8 milliliters that they advertise, and I cram it to 5. So yes, it was this was a Franken mix. Obviously, this was like 5 different things in here, and I could definitely see it very slowly go down here. There's stuff clinging to the sides, but I'm gonna re-up this soon, so I didn't feel like really cleaning the thing out. And honestly, this was so messy. Like, the different formulas that I put in here were just so thick, and it was just like sometimes like gloop out, and it was just not pleasant. The main overriding one was the Summer Fridays like coffee one that came in a kit, and I can't do that. I can't do the coffee scent. So it was like nice at first, but yeah, actually using it every day, that was a little bit rough. And then I finished up my first little mini bottle of my foundation. This is only about 15 milliliters in here. So I have a lot more of my big bottle to go, but this first one is done. It's just like doing slurry things, and I honestly cannot see through this, so it was just like, I hope this is getting close. I hope this is getting close. It took me about 2.5 months to get through one of these little bottles, so I've got 3 more bottles to go, so it's gonna take me, I think, well into the end of the summer if I'm really diligent about it. Just wanted to document that. And then I did finish body lotion. Not that exciting, but I did use it in conjunction actually with this organic nipple balm that I had sitting around from when I was pregnant, and I was like, I don't even know anymore, but I just used it as like an emollient and just like mixed in with my moisturizer, because after I finished my body oil a little while back, actually not that far back, I just finished my body oil not that long ago, sometime earlier this year, and so I was just kind of figuring out like what other options there are in terms of an inclusive. So I've just been like grabbing whatever is kind of laying around and trying it out, and that wasn't a bad mix, but I'm trying something else out right now. And then I did scrape out 2 samples of it was like a brow pomade and then like a hair pomade, like an edge thing, and use that in my Franken mascara, which I already mentioned, so why don't I talk about my new Franken things. So I mixed together this Franken pomade type thing from with the base of these pomades, and then a really, really dark eyeshadow that I had that I wasn't using anymore because I'm just so slow with dark eyeshadows. So this actually mixed together really nicely, and is actually really nice. I tried using this mascara that I rolled out today, and then I was like, it's not giving me anything, so I actually put this on top as mascara, and I feel like it's doing something, right? You can see them. I like my Natches natural. Gosh, did you know what I was saying there? I like my lashes natural. I like my lashes lateral. That's crazy. I like my lashes natural. So this has been, applying this with a mascara brush has not been a bad idea, like a fan mascara brush. I don't have it in front of me to show you, but I've shown it a few times. That's actually been really nice, and I've done it in my brows a few times, but it can be a little bit strong. And actually, I was thinking of keeping this around as to use in my brows. It is like dry enough for that, so I might actually do that. But in terms of mascara, that one's a no-go. But this one I feel like I can use, but it is very water soluble. Like, I can clean my fan brush just with water, and most of the product comes out. So I'm a little nervous. Like, this is not a waterproof solution. I was wondering if it would be. And it is quite a bit scented. There was one of the products I used was pretty scented, so that part I'm not a fan of. But otherwise, in terms of using it as like a non-waterproof mascara, I mean, I honestly don't use non-waterproof mascaras in general, but surprisingly, this whatever pseudo non-waterproof mascara does actually hold up during the day for me if I'm not like getting in the water. And it's pretty non-smudging. Like, I feel like by the end of the day where I'm like starting to rub my eyes and like, you know, close my eyes, or, you know, whatever I'm doing with my toddler to get her to bed, by then I'll see little smudges under my eye, but most of the day it's honestly fine. So really, really happy with this mix. I don't know if I'll actually finish it, but I feel like this experiment was in a way its own success, and I'll continue to use this. And in that way, actually, in order to make this concoction, I did also have to scrape out all of the eye base that was in here, and I ended up mixing that into this cream Franken bronzer. It was also featured in my Franken video, and it's very, very moussey because I mixed in this primer. Whoop, everything's collapsing. This Cover FX primer, which is a very like, it's one of those like silicone-y type textures. And I've been just using this with a sponge so far, and it's been okay. I mean, it's just like quite emollient. It's not like set or anything like that, which, you know, I would prefer. But it's a Franken bronzer. I really can't expect that much from it. But the tone is really nice. I have it as an underpainting today. And let me grab the thing I dropped. And otherwise, I think it's been performing as I intended to. So pretty happy about that. I pulled this out for some other stuff. And then the other Franken thing I made was this Franken blush, this powder blush. And yeah, honestly, really, really happy with this. If I use it with a light hand, I can use it like on top of, especially with like underpainting and stuff, I really need to use this with light hand. If it's by itself, I can actually use it and it comes out pretty well as well. So honestly, really happy about this. We'll see when I hit pan on it, because it's quite a large pan for a Franken blush. Yeah, so I think those are the main new Franken things that came into my collection. I think now I want to talk about, other than these Franken products that I've been using as focus face products, what else am I using? I am using this as my primer, at least trying to remember to. I've been really bad about my primer lately. And then I've actually been mixing the foundation. I'm gonna re-up this after this video, and I've actually been mixing these two as like a sunscreen foundation tinted something every day, and so that's been nice. I've even been using it alone sometimes. So just like get used to my foundation. This has been a good mix, and this is also like, if I don't rub it in enough, it can definitely leave a white cast. So once I like really mix these two together, I feel like it lays on my skin a little bit better, rather than leaving me with a white cast. I do underpainting with a cream blush, which I forgot to grab. Actually no, I have it in front of me. I have it in this palette, which I was going to showcase in my next video I was going to film. I pushed my cream blush into this concealer palette, which I also use as a base product. And yeah, so use this, use some concealers on my face, and then I do my actual foundation I mentioned was this one mixed with the sunscreen. And then I use the powder blush, and then my powder bronzer has been this Franken bronzer mix that I made, and it's honestly really, really slow going. I just kind of like tap out whatever I can onto the little puff that's inside, and then I like use half of whatever's on this puff on one side of my face and the other half on the other side, and that's usually enough. And sometimes I even have to tap it off on the back of my hand to like make sure I don't over apply. And then sometimes I've been reaching between these two powders. This one is my MAC powder in it's in C 3.5, not NC 3.5, just to be clear. The shade name is C 3.5, and especially if I feel like I put on too much like underpainting or whatever powders, I sometimes use this because this has more coverage. And then other days I use my DIY Franken powder. This like, the stuff on here is just like been flaking off. I don't think you can tell my finger, but it's been flaking off from time to time. Like, where is this glitter coming from? It's so annoying. But if I give this a good tap, I'm more than halfway through. I have about a third left, and I'm so ready for this to be done. I just want to get this packaging out of my life. It's starting to like just feel old and a little bit rougher on the edges and kind of like sticky, you know that feeling. So yeah, so I just use what I can. Sometimes I use it just around my eyes to set the concealer and my eye primer, or I just use it all over my face to kind of buff everything together and to set it and stuff like that. So working through it slowly but surely. But yeah, those I think are the main things, and of course like setting spray and stuff like that, but I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Yeah, I think in terms of like goals for the next, by the time I give this update next time, I would love to see for my concealers, and I'll share this again in my Pan Those Palettes update. I hope to actually like mix these two together, and then yeah, just like further consolidate this palette. And then in addition, I mean, I would love to see Pan in my new Franken products, but I just don't think that's going to happen. I would love to see this powder gone. I would love to see my DIY Franken powder in another packaging. I honestly don't have huge goals on this one. I just am using it when I want to. So that's actually kind of nice to have a product that I'm just kind of organically using and wanting to use versus, you know, like the panning mindset. It's a new type of extreme. My DIY Franken bronzer, I mean, I'm just about halfway now. Maybe just below. I mean, honestly, I'm just using it as I want to, just reaching for this instead of any other bronzer is my main goal. I'm gonna re-up this and, you know, start working at the new iteration of this. And then this primer is gonna be the bane of my existence for the next few months. It is a good primer, but I just hate it being in a squeezy tube. So I could see myself decanting this somewhere. Potentially, I do feel like there's an air bubble too. So I feel like once I can get the air bubble out, that might be when I decant it. I'm like just about there right now. So maybe once I get to the top of the letters, I'm hoping I'll get there by next month. So wish me luck. So I think that's about it for this update. Actually, one more thing I wanted to talk about. I recently came across, and I'll have to link them down below. Please comment if I don't, because sometimes I forget to, you know, say whatever I was gonna, or do whatever I said I was gonna do. I think his name is Van Makeup Artist. He is a makeup artist in New York, I believe. And he created, this is actually a few years ago, and I just heard about this. It's called the Artist Kit Company, and it's literally like my Franken panning dream. He created an entire brand out of, he calls it condensing makeup. And I think that's so smart because I know I Franken a lot of things and I mix a lot of things together, but sometimes it is just condensing, like this cream blush, and as much as I franken this cream blush, but I took it out of the larger packaging and put it in here. And he basically has created this entire like Freedom makeup system with pans, with Freedom palettes, and even the actual like molds and like, you know, things you press with. And he even advertises, I don't know if it's in his storefront or he just links it to Amazon, but even like an arbor press, like a 1-ton arbor press, you know, that you would see in a workshop or something, to actually be able to dry press powders to what they're supposed to be. And I mean, like when watching his videos, he's like all the tools, right? Which I don't think I'll ever shell out for that level, and especially him being a makeup artist and other makeup artists that have the money to put towards this in terms of how much they value like actually condensing their makeup products. But I think just the term condensing is new to me, which is really really cool to come across. Yeah, like a makeup artist that supports this and like really advocates for other makeup artists to do the same in terms of like condensing and like streamlining and all that stuff. And I don't think I really saw anything like he didn't use like frankening as a term, and that's just one I often used. I think he talked about, maybe one video he talked about like mixing products together, and that's just like the freedom he has because he's, you know, taking powders out of their native packaging and crushing them up and doing all this stuff. But yeah, I feel like I've definitely embraced the whole frankening aspect of things and how I use my makeup. But yeah, I just wanted to mention him, give him a shout out, and his work a shout out. I mean, his stuff is beautiful and a little bit out of my price range, but I might treat myself if I really, really want to shift towards his Freedom palettes. I feel like his brand of packaging is something I might consider. His is mostly rectangular and square packaging. Not, I haven't really seen any circular stuff, so it's not like I could just like pop eyeshadows from one to the next. So I feel like I would still, if I do end up transitioning, it would be something of a kind of a gradual transition between, you know, like my MAC Freedom palettes and his. But if you haven't heard yet, I'm kind of starting to separate myself from the MAC brand. And as much as I love their Freedom palette system, actually his is quite similar in terms of like black with like the pans and stuff like that. But just yeah, I'd prefer to maybe not be waving around the MAC brand as much. I could probably find a way to like remove the logo and stuff like that, but yeah, I think that's just something that I've been thinking about. This stuff is a little pricey, but I think depending on how much I lean into it, we'll see. So anyways, just wanted to mention that I am fangirling over his content and fangirling over his his approach to like condensing makeup and making things more streamlined. And I love his setup when he showcases his like pro makeup bag. It's something I can only like drool over, right? I had dreams once of becoming a makeup artist, but like I never made it very far. But I think it's something that it's like it's a niche world with niche needs, and I think it's really cool that he used his like expertise to address those. So anyways, I'll leave that there. Feel free to check him out if you want to. I have nothing of his to showcase. I just only have his name and me watching his content. So maybe one day I'll have some of his stuff in my hands. I feel like I'm already eyeing a few things that could be potentially really useful, but I have some things to use right now, so I'm not gonna like run out and grab that. So anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.